Good afternoon, everybody. I think I'm just a hair early here, so we'll give it a second for everybody to get logged on. Michael Fisk from Tri-State Roadmaster Group. Melissa, how are you? Um, I'm in Glendale office today. Actually, we got some stuff going on with our risk management and safety departments. Hey, Debbie, good to see you. A safety message: if you are driving and watching this, please don't. Not a good idea, of course. Um, but yeah, if you're stopped and you're able to participate, please send in any questions or comments or anything else that you've got. Happy to discuss it. Just remember that this format. We've had lots of conversations about whether we should take this into a more private room and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's there's multiple purposes. That we do this Facebook Live. It's for the ease and convenience, really, for driver communication. So making it private and in rooms and that kind of stuff just makes it a little more difficult for some drivers that are not as technically savvy or Facebook friendly or whatever to figure that out. However, the downsides of it is we're aware that we have customers that watch this and we're okay with that. And in fact, I think that's pretty great. But we're also aware the competitors will watch. But at the same time, we have prospective drivers, that'll watch. We have new hires that just say, hey, man, I went through and researched the company and watched, last couple of months of, these Facebook Lives, and everything. So, as you send in questions, and comments, if we can't get into great detail, that's often why. But generally, just encourage you to reach out to me directly. And again, I know I can be, somewhat difficult to get a hold of. I will always respond. It may just not always be the same day. And sometimes, if, you've left text or voicemails and I've responded to text messages, or sent back an email or something like that, I do want your questions. I do want your comments. We'll respond. I promise. It just has to be the right format and situation, that kind of stuff. Okay, we're gonna get going here. Scott, Janine, hi. Robert, how you doing? Bob, Mr. Fisk is my dad, so yeah, just Mike or Michael is great. But and Lynette, good to see everybody. And thank you for joining us here. There's a few things, holiday season. Holiday season's always tough for drivers. We get it. I mean, we'd love to be able to get everybody home, for both Thanksgiving and well, throughout the Christmas and New Year's, type of thing. It's just not possible. We still have customer, responsibilities, obligations, and that kind of stuff. The problem is especially with the economy being as volatile as now, we don't know what our customer volume is always going to be. So it's please engage with us. If you feel like, hey, how come I can't be home for Christmas? I mean, we've already gone through Thanksgiving. We're in trucking, and sometimes we still have freight to move, but then other times when freight is slower, we can have more drivers home for the holidays. But sometimes you guys don't like that. It's like, hey man, I want to run. I want to finish off the year strong. That kind of stuff. So as much as possible. I mean, it's we have to take care of the customers for sure. But our first responsibility always is to drivers. Type of thing. So that is why we have the one holiday off. One holiday at home. Policy. But like I said, there can be some wiggle room, both good and bad sometimes, depending on, what customer needs are, type of thing. So please engage with us in those conversations. If freight is a bit slower, and you want to go home, we're happy to accommodate that. But if you feel like we're pressuring you, to keep running, it's just because we've got a lot of customer needs and freight, which again in this environment and this last year of trucking, instability. Us and everyone else, we kind of want to take all the freight, that we can possibly get, type of thing. So, anyway, it's always a little bit of a balance. It's always a bit of a, juggling, there. But engage with us, and we'll explain, what's going on, and hopefully, it's a win-win for both of us, type of thing. So, David Ransom, hello from Australia. We appreciate you, logging in, their well-deserved trip. I mean, it's and on break. Hopefully, it's going well for you, Dave. Share some pictures. We'll post them, there. So anyway, Sam, thanks for joining us. And if someone can't, if you guys can't hear me, let me know. I feel like maybe I'm talking a little bit, softer, type of thing, but. Okay, so that's what's kind of going on with the holidays. Speaking of the holiday, freight, we get some high value freight, from some retail shippers, especially this time of the year. One of our, key, customers that we get, seasonal, freight from. I will tell you, a month and a half ago when it started, we had some challenges. We had some service, failures that shouldn't have happened. Again, our standards are much, much higher, than most, else out there. So, what we consider, to be not good, other companies probably think is fantastic, actually, but you understand, we understand, that we have higher standards, and Don Walchoff and his sales group, promised that, higher level of service to the customers. Well, we had one of our, long-term partners and key customers that we weren't to our standards, about a month ago. And so I don't know if you heard about this or not, but Stern and his leadership group and driver management, with Kyle and Sarah, introduced that it's called the Let's Be Perfect, period of time, where it was zero service failures, during a 3-week period. And I tell you, that worked great. I mean, it's really grateful for all of our driver managers, for really good communication. But we're grateful for all of you guys, that deliver the freight, on time, and we were able to meet our perfect standard, for that period of time. It's crazy. I mean, we have some challenges, certain times, we've had, with government entities that say, hey, Tri-State, you've got more violations than you should. That we've got good data, and we'll go to this data and says, okay, wait a second, you said we have, 15 violations in a 12-month period. That's accurate. All the other, shippers, had, 15, violations combined in that same period. However, they shipped, 150 loads, and had 15 violations. We shipped 2,000 loads and had those 15 violations, right? And so it's, you got to be careful with statistics, right? I mean, and data and, that kind of stuff, and make sure, that we understand, what's at the root of it, and everything. But I want to pass on that when we put our mind to it, and, perfection is a standard that is, expected of Tri-State from our customers. And there are times when we can meet that standard, but obviously we're not always going to meet that standard, but that is something that, we'll keep working on. But I just wanted to share with you, we had a, 3-week period of Let's Be Perfect, and we meet that standard, for that 3-week period. So thank you to everybody, and the leadership of Stern and Danny Garcia, Jake Moffitt, and all the driver managers, to help make that happen, as well. So, Garrett, yeah, how do we have service? I mean, things happen. I mean, sometimes it's mechanical, and sometimes, listen, I mean, it's a people business. I mean, I was a driver for a while. I slept in, I mean, it's, I didn't hit the alarm right, or I just did the math wrong, or whatever, right? I mean, it's, so, some of it is human error, some of it's out of our control, I mean, especially with weather, and that kind of stuff. But Garrett, it's, we address it, we apologize and fix it, and we do really well, Garrett. I mean, it's, So, Bob, why are the rates so low? You know what? That's on my list to talk about. So, if you bear with me, hang tight, there. And then happy holidays to Teresa. So, happy holidays, Teresa, from Bob, there. So we do have a new lane from this key customer, and this is why, perfection helps, right? I mean, they do give us new lanes and more opportunities, when we're able to service those lanes. So I'm not going to use last names or truck numbers, but Chandler and Mark, I think you're picking one up, load. That's a brand new lane for us. Please service it well, so we can get new, brand new lanes, type of thing. But those are the results, that come from, doing the good works, that we do. So anyway, okay. I want to share with you something else here. California has passed some new, regulation around CARB compliance. Most old school truckers understand that prior to 2010, you could, have big smokestacks and emissions didn't really matter. But after 2010, the CARB compliance, that started in California and then really went nationwide, became a, big deal. And that's why we don't have the big smokestacks, and that's why we have to deal with the DEFs. And I know that's, the DEF technology has gotten better and better, but I started driving in 2011, and DEF was still pretty clunky, a lot clunkier than it is now, type of thing. So those technologies are getting better. Emissions are getting better, and it is contributing, to green initiatives. However, California is turning down the screws even more, and effective January 1, 2024, there's a new initiative called, CTC, California Clean Truck Initiative. And essentially, what that is doing is it requires any truck that comes into the state of California has to be registered. And there has to be a $30 registration. The first year, the truck also has to be inspected one time to California CTC standards, okay? And that's in 2024. In 2025, every truck that comes into California has to pay the $30 registration as well as being inspected twice. And then 2026, again, pay the $30 registration, and then each truck has to be inspected 4 times, once a quarter. And so who knows what the inspections are going to cost? I mean, we've put in the effort or the work to get, our shops and Bruce and Jorge and Phoenix, Peoria and Joplin. And I think Rodney, I'm guessing, anyway, I'm not sure where all the certifications are, but I think we have 12 of our shop, personnel certified, for the CTC, standards, there. And so we can do the inspections ourselves, but there's still a cost, and I think it's probably going to be about $150 per inspection. When it all comes down to it, on top of the $30 registration. There, I imagine at some point you can get those inspections done. At TAs and Loves and whatever type of thing. But this program hasn't fully rolled out now, and in fact, it's interesting. A lot of trucking companies aren't even aware, of this new, regulation. Tri-states, of course, our customers want to know, that their freight is not going to be, at risk. We're going to be compliant. Company trucks. We've got a plan to get all of our company trucks, registered and, on the inspection, cycle. The owner operators are also going to have to be compliant. We'll do the legwork for you. We'll have more information coming out to owner operators, but we'll do the legwork. But the costs, according to Department of Labor, and standards of independent contractor, are going to have to get, passed on to you. But right now it's a $30 a year registration plus, whatever the inspection, costs are. So, again, to independent contractors, owner operators, we'll get more information out to you. But Melissa, when we have certain trucks allocated for California or just as needed, and those are the conversations and questions we've asked ourselves. Obviously, if we've got a local truck dedicated to McAllister or whatever, we're not going to get them California registered. but all of our OTR fleet, I mean, it's for planning purposes, and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it's we're just gonna have to register all the trucks, and maybe they'll go in once a year, maybe they'll go in 20 times a year. It's the same cost, type of thing. But it's just too difficult to. We're not a big enough, fleet, to say, well, this percentage is just going to be dedicated to California, and this percentage not, won't. And again, I mean, with rates being, volatile and, that kind of stuff, there's, we just want all of our trucks to be able to do California freight, if the rates warrant it. So yeah, if you're an OTR truck, we're gonna need to get compliant, to that. So, Bob, yeah, hey, listen, I mean, it's, God bless California. We do a lot of business, in and out of California, but, and I'll share this with you. I can't share too much, but it was a few years ago. There's a government entity in California that came after us, I mean, it said, Tri-State, you guys need to be better. And, and with our data and the information that we had, we were able to go back to them and say, hey, listen, I mean, here's the real picture. I mean, Bob, I don't want to say that that we were prepared to pull out, but that's of course always an option, But then it puts our customers in a bad spot. But we were able to explain, to this government entity why. They're better off doing business with us than anybody else out there. And it's interesting where that relationship changed from a very adversarial, where they wanted to, fine us and all those kind of things, where they're coming to us for help and advice. We worked together on a plan, where we went in and did some special training with the customers, in that area. And after we went through that process and everything, we have a great relationship with that government entity, and there's a token thing that they put on us type of thing, but it turned into a real success story because of the caliber of our drivers, because of the work of Donnie and Wade and Andy in particular, and the work of our internally the hazmat manifest and cleaning up those kind of things turned into a pretty good thing. So yeah, listen, the initial reaction can often be, well, we're just not gonna play ball with you. But typically, that's not the right reaction, and if we are as good as we think we are, we're able to have a lot of success by going in and showing that to them, and anyway, we're going to continue to do business in California, but we understand that there are challenges to it for sure. So for company trucks. There's not going to be much that will impact you guys. Except for, we're going to have to start tracking, the California, truck clean truck inspection, type of thing. So you may, be told to go to Joplin, to get that inspection or get it done over the road or whatever. Owner operators, like I said, more information will be coming, but, the financial impact, be basically $30 a year plus, the cost of inspections, there. So. Okay. Several people, not just Bob, have asked about, rates and freight and what's going on there. Again, keep in mind that, this is a public forum, so I need to be somewhat careful, of specific numbers, that kind of stuff. I've had several, email me, say, hey man, what's going on, type of thing. And Richard, I owe you a phone call back, I think, and there. So it's here's what I'll tell you. Listen, 2023 has been tough on trucking overall. I mean, it's there's been a lot of bankruptcies, and there's an article that I saw that lined out all the the bankruptcies and mergers and financially distressed transportation and logistics companies out there. Here's what I can tell you. We, Tri-State, ATCO, SJ, we're good. Now, are we 2022 good? No, we're not. I mean, nobody is. There. Did we anticipate, that 2023 was going to be, tougher than 22? Yeah, we did. I mean, and so we budgeted accordingly, and so forth. There are changes and adjustments that you've seen us make that we couldn't necessarily explain why we're doing it at the time, but we're seeing the benefits, to it now. I mean, it's the company is healthy. I mean, it's and I'm going to probably give myself a little bit of hot water here. Some of the and you guys will probably know what I'm referring to. Some of the decisions and moves that were made some months ago, those decisions were not made by us at the RMG tri-state level. We have ownership. We have other entities, and and we all have bosses, and when we're told to do something, we do it, type of thing. But I can tell you that all the RMG companies are very healthy. I mean, it's again, our revenues are not the same as 2022, type of thing. But we plan for it, we budget it, and we're doing well, especially compared to the rest of the industry. Why are rates low? Well, obviously, when there's more, you talk to the economists, okay? I mean, it's 2020. When COVID happened in 2020, okay, I mean, it's there was a huge jump. So what is it, March 12th, 2020, when all the world kind of shut down, and if you think about those days, I mean, we didn't know what was going on. Truck stops were in Pennsylvania, in particular, weren't accessible. We had to threaten Pennsylvania, hey man, if you don't get those truck stops open, so our drivers can rest and everything, we're not going to go through Pennsylvania, right? I mean, it's all of those kind of things were going on. Freight went up in March, April, ish period, right? And then there was a bit of a drop off, May, June, July area, of 2020. And then in August, it just took off. I mean, it's and I mean it's trucking companies were were able to almost charge whatever they wanted to, type of thing. I mean, it's but what that brought in was a lot of capacity. I mean, it's we couldn't get a brand new truck. I mean, we try to order 100 trucks, we get 50 of them, type of thing. I mean, some of it is supply chain, some of it was those it created new hundreds and thousands of new DOT numbers. I mean, it's and so what happened in end of 2020, 21, and 22 was just a lot more trucks came into the trucking industry. Well, in 2023, we saw a lot of that growth go away. There's Convoy, which is a logistics company. They thought they had cracked the technology code of trucking, and at one time, I think like as short as 18 months ago, they were evaluated like $3 billion. They're out of business now. I mean, it's we know of publicly traded trucking companies, Yellow and U.S. Express, that have either gone out of business or consolidated or what have not. So there's a lot of angst and trauma going on in the industry, and it's largely rooted because there's just too much capacity. There's too many trucks, that came into trucking, and so now, supply and demand, when they have too many trucks, the shippers now get to set the rates. I mean, it's, in 2021, they had to pay what we wanted to charge, but in 2023, the shippers said, first of all, there's less volume. Retail is going to be down this year. It's, building is down, housing, starts is down. It's interesting, Q3, gross domestic product, GDP was up. I think it was 4.9. I think they said now it's 5.2, type of thing, which suggests growth, right? But again, we talked about how sometimes, stats and data, you got to dig deeper. It's not always, as clear, what is real and what's not. In that same quarter, we understand the disposable income dropped by over 1%. The disposable income meaning, you and I, the consumers, the amount of money that we have to spend, there. So that is certainly going to have an impact. And we're seeing that, through 2023. So, because there's too many trucks in trucking, frankly, that's what's driving down rates. Our world is even more a microcosm of that, right? I mean, it's in a typical, environment, there's 17, I think, companies that are authorized to do DoD freight. The DoD volume hasn't changed that much. I mean, it's within a few percentages of where it's been, especially since the last year or two, type of thing. But there's a lot more because there's no other freights for the other 17 the 16 besides us to ship type of thing. They're trying to get more trucks into the DoD space. So in our world, there's just a lot more capacity, companies getting the endorsements and the certifications and everything to try to get their trucks and drivers to be able to haul the same freight, that we do. So even that, we're feeling it. But nonetheless, there, guys, I mean, it's, I just can't tell you enough. I mean, trucking is hard to innovate, but we innovate. I mean, it's and we have great dashboards and great information and great analytics available to us. We're able to make decisions pretty quick, and we're not always. We should probably do a better job of explaining how and why we make those decisions. But it's a we don't make decisions without good information, and that doesn't mean we make perfect decisions, of course, but the analytics and the dashboards that we have allows us to respond well. We have great leadership, great management, that makes the tough decisions how to pivot. We have a great sales group, that goes and gets freight, that other companies aren't able to get, but that's fundamentally all supported by the drivers that make, excuse my language, but make shit happen, and so it is very much an ecosystem where we all depend on each other, and it works out. And anyway, it's freights are lower, rates are lower, volumes are lower, but we're healthy, and that's the best I can tell you. I mean, it's reach out to me individually, and I can probably get into a little bit more specifics, type of thing. But yeah, we're in good shape. 2024, it's hard to know. Nothing I've seen indicates that 2024 is going to be, any better anytime soon. But again, there is no panic button, guys. And think about it this way, okay? I mean, it's if 2022 did not happen, 2023 would be the best year ever. It would. I mean, the problem in 2023 is it's not 2022. The problem in 2023 is the second best year, really. I mean, it's even if you're our owner operators in particular. I mean, think about where you were in 2021 to today. I mean, it's generally most of our owner operators are doing better today than they were in 2021. It's just not as good as 2022. So anyway, it's those are all kind of things that go into it there. But again, the summary is we're positioned well. We pivot quickly. We make good decisions generally. It's the strength of our drivers. Jean, Jean and her husband with us for years. She lost her husband. She lost her co-driver. We miss you as well. I mean, it's there are signs of more distress, but again, sometimes I think we got to be careful because it becomes self-fulfilling, right? I mean, it's I think most of those are certainly with Roadmaster Group companies, we're okay. We're worried, we see signs of, distress or whatever, but we're doing fine, type of thing, and it's Jack, I see your question, there. Listen, I look at that constantly, and I suspect that we are going to, to have, an increase, in the next little bits, but think about what we just talked about, okay? I mean, when we built, put in the wage increase in 2021, remember, we did 3 of them that year, okay? And, realizing it's not enough, it's not the right amount, and everything. And the final one that we did in October, we anticipated would carry us through, 2022, it was about a 20% jump, when all is said and done. But Jack, everywhere that we're seeing, here's what's interesting. Companies are not technically cutting their pay plan, but drivers, if they're on a mileage pay, they're getting less loads, they're getting less miles, so they're getting less pay. The other thing that is a huge factor, and I don't want to get into the politics of here, but Universal Health Care Act is, I think, pretty much, inarguably understood that it has cost the economy and individuals way more money than was expected. I mean, it's healthcare is skyrocketed, continues to skyrocket, and I understand that each of you are facing inflation, but we are also, but inflation also hits the company, So Jack, it's when, I don't have a specific answer. Here's what I can tell you. Our drivers are not making less money. Some are making more money depending on, if they got more endorsements or, flatbed fleets, whatever. They're not making less money. Industry-wide, drivers are making less money, that are not with us. That's company drivers. Owner-operators are making less this year than they were in 2022. I mean, it's and that's across the board. I mean, it's we've got owner-operators begging, to come back, and for the health of our, current business partners, we're very limited on our owner-operator growth, this year, and everything. So Jack, that's the best answer I can give you. Although, beyond that, I would anticipate one coming. I just, we have to do it in a way, that is obviously, healthy and good for the company and for each, and for all our drivers. So anyway, I mean, it's let me try to get through the other questions here, comments. Chantel, hi. Jeff, you better inform the planners. Come on, Jeff. Yeah, we've gone through this. Reach out to me directly, but it's I don't think you're being fair there. I mean, it's Chantel, border crossing for owner operators and lease ops. Again, I'm not sure what you're referring to, exactly, but if there's a rate in it, you already get it. But again, guys, I mean, this is kind of going back to Jack thing, that we're not able to get higher rates in this environment. I mean, we need to kind of just be happy if we get the same rates, and the reality is that industry wide rates are going down, so however that's packaged or phrased, type of thing. I mean, it's we have great business partners and we have great customers, I mean, it's we are mindful of them, when freight's good for us, but they're mindful of us when freight goes down. I mean, that's what a relationship is, right? I mean, we, they don't stick it to us, and when they can, and we don't stick it to them. But there is the realities of the world and the economy, that things are going to trend up, and when there's not much capacity, and rates are going to go down when there is a lot of capacity, there. So. Joe, are we waiting on government spend? Not really. I mean, it's there's a lot of other things that go into that. I mean, listen. I mean, it's it's that's not really impacting us in a serious way. I mean, but it's certainly something to keep an eye on. And the thing is, Joe, is there's nobody that we can call in the government and says, hey man, is the budgets, affect impacting us? So we just kind of have to make, speculative, observations, and again, it seems fine, type of thing. But who knows? I mean, if there's a different budget pass, maybe there'd be a lot more spending, type of thing. But there's some other things, that we're aware of that we see out there that indicates that it's not really impacting this, more so than some other things. So anyway. Guys, I appreciate it. I want to wish each of you, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. A lot of stuff going on, out there, but there's a lot of good stuff going on as well. I mean, it's grateful for you. I mean, it's we'll continue, to make the best decisions that we can. I mean, it's if you feel like we're messing up, raise your hand, send me a message, send somebody a message, type of thing. I mean, it's try to be respectful, it's type of thing. But we're not afraid of the dialogue. I mean, it's we just want to make sure it's a good one and a productive one, there. So anyway, thanks everybody. Appreciate all of you. Bob, how's F1 was fun. I don't know how many of you guys are race car fans, but I attended my first one ever. And it's if you have Netflix, watch that Netflix documentary. It's interesting. So anyway, all right, everybody, appreciate all of you. Thanks, and we'll talk to you again soon. See you. Bye.